My name is Zoe Roberts.
Hello, my name is Riley Florino.
My name is Maria Dolly.
I'm Sarah. My name is Raquel Haller Zamora.
Hi, I'm Olivia Moffett.
My name is Emma Ryan.
Hi, my name is Selena Daly. I am a fashion major at Kendall and I am a junior.
I am currently a junior at KCAD. I've been pretty involved, especially this year, in the fashion program.
I am part of the Fashion Studies program at Kendall College of Art and Design.
I am a senior in the Fashion Studies program.
I'm a third-year student right now.
I am a third-year fashion major at KCAD.
I am in my fourth year at the Kendall College.
I'm a junior in the Fashion Studies program.
Honestly, I really like nature. That's kind of like the basic of inspiration. A lot of people look to that, but then looking at the different shapes and how that mimics sort of the curvature of the body, looking at historical ways of constructing garments and how you can use the grain and the bias of fabric. I draw a lot of my inspiration from existing garments, looking at how they're constructed and how you can either evolve that to be less wasteful or using all of one type of material, and how you can create a shape if you wanted to do nuancing with darts and how that is played with. Yeah, history and my experience with constructing garments really influences what I do, and then the sort of whimsy of being out in nature and that feeling of being refreshed gives me this sense to go on and create something new.
I think from looking at other people to see what their vibe is. What I want to do with my clothes is capture the essence of people so that they have a way to express what's within them and send it to the outside world. So I'm really interested in emotions, nature, what makes people feel calm, what makes people feel safe, what makes people excited to go out and do things and wake up and start your day and put on a cool outfit, fit the mood of your little story you're going to tell with your day.
So I tend to draw my inspiration mainly from nature, because a lot of the times when everything is chaotic around me, I will find some solidarity in being outside and feeling grounded and even just feeling the wind on my face and stuff. So any little lines or anything little and odd outside I can find inspiration in.
I love doing multiple materials for a project, combining different textures together. I love working with leathers and silks, and those are really different in density, but I love kind of doing a combination. I think that's a lot of fun. So I did a dress for the fashion show, and I combined all of the different scraps and things that I've kind of accumulated through thrift stores and different things, and just kind of put them all together and made sort of a patchwork design dress. So I love finding old things, old pieces of fabric, and just kind of having a collection and then putting them all together and making one finished thing out of it.
Honestly, I really just like working with cotton. It's super easy to work with, and it's really easy to manipulate to do different kinds of textures or things like that. But honestly, I'm kind of willing to work with anything. I like trying new fabric.
Knits is very hard to work with, but once you learn how to work with it, it's a great material to use because you can use it for different sizes, and the manipulation of the material is really great. But I also like to use, brocade. Although when I was using it at the time, I didn't know the complications that come with it, but when you see it as a garment and as a piece, it's very beautiful, the detail and the material itself, because you can see texture, but also it's an art piece of its own.
My favorite materials to work with, one would definitely be leather. I've always had a huge interest in leather since I was young, and I finally got the opportunity to start working with it throughout college. I love mixing hard and soft textiles, so doing leather with organza or lace, and just that juxtaposition of hard and soft. I love making my own textiles. So this past capstone, I did my own knitted material. I love embroidering, so just incorporating different, tactile things and really doing my own textile design as well as surface embellishment.
I enjoy designing everything. I think specifically I like to do more formal, dressed up women's wear, and I really enjoy doing streetwear actually, just for the utility of it and a little more edgier design. I think streetwear is probably my favorite.
I really love making skirts and dresses. They're super fun. But I did a really cool sleeve a couple semesters ago. I did this really cool shibori technique where I hand tied all of these buttons into it to create this bubbled texture and then draped it across the body so it doesn't really appear to look like a sleeve when it's up. It just looks like one full piece, but it fits on like a sleeve.
One of my favorite things to work on is anything with corsetry. In my collection, I did a lot of bustiers. I've done a couple corsets in the past, and I think that challenge of getting all the boning inside right and making sure it fits perfectly and just everything, that's one of my favorite things to work with.
I didn't want to be too far from home, but far enough away that I could have a whole new environment of people to get to know. And when I came in, I think I had talked to Demi McNeil. I think she had given a tour, and she was really selling me on the idea of Kendall and the way that they incorporate their major specific programs with those basic academic classes was really something that drew me in, and the opportunities that the alumni have gotten to experience afterward. And what really got me to decide on going here is the 4 years you make your final collection, and the idea of having the opportunity and the thought of making that final collection rather than being at FIT and doing more technical pin work was really what made me decide to come here. The community and being able to work with faculty who is on board with more sustainable, eco-friendly ways of creating clothing.
Honestly, I just was looking up design schools in the area, and I found their website, and I like what I saw, and just the descriptions and everything on the website really intrigued me to come check it out. And then I took a tour, and I really like what I saw, and I've really enjoyed it here since. I'm glad that I checked it out.
I was looking into going to fashion school, and so somebody told me to look here, so I came to a spring open house, and Lori, the chair of our program, told me all about the program and then sat with me for a few hours, and I just fell in love as soon as I came to campus.
So originally I was driven to go to KCAD through my dad. He was really impressed with Kendall from years ago when they had just furniture design. And then as me and my brother were growing up and were driven to art and had a passion for art, he thought it would have been a great idea for us to go here, especially because it's local. They have these open houses, and those are the opportunities where you can get scholarships or even get feedback on how to grow and be prepared to go to college. That really drew me to come here.
What brought me to KCAD is I've had sisters who lived here previously, and I had come to visit Grand Rapids, and I loved the community and how creative everyone was and accepting, and so that was really the biggest thing that drew me here, and also meeting new people and making friends and being around like-minded individuals.
Yes, the easy question. Honestly, I love a lot of aspects of the fashion process. I've done some work in sewing production, and that's been really fun. Working on the ballet was a nice nod to when I had a job in Rochester where I was running marathon costumes. And so doing that part's been really exciting. The construction process, knowing how to fit a garment, a pattern to a specific type of body. So now I'm thinking about going into pattern drafting and fit basic. I'll be doing an independent study with Lori Faulkner this summer. I want to study more on how to start with basically nothing when you're drafting and draping a piece to a finished product that fits your client like a glove and is comfortable and long-lasting.
Right now my goal is to really pin down the passion that I'm really driven by, which is in fashion design of illustration and construction. There's many positions in the fashion industry, but those are the two that I really want to focus on. With that being said, I've also taken a fashion and business class, so I would really, in the future, like to have a boutique of my own. I would like to partner with someone who has a boutique locally, but then branch out and possibly go to Texas. There's a lot of opportunities there, aside from like main places that a lot of people are driven to, like New York, California, something about Texas that I've been driven to.
My future goals are I would love to be able to own my own small business in hopefully LA, because I want to be somewhere warm where the sun is on me, and I would love to have my own like warehouse and be able to do like any designs that I want and have like a community of people who I love and can trust with my work and who can also bounce opinions and ideas off of me.
I think knowing what people want is always challenging because I know like what I like and I know what I want to see. But it's also like knowing how to like move things forward in the world so that you're not just doing the same thing that everyone's always done. You want to do things that are new, you want to do things that are helpful, you want to do things that reach out to people that haven't been reached before. You want to be more sustainable, but you want to make quality things. I think that's what's most challenging, is figuring out who you're working for and how you can reach them the best. It's like what gives me my drive, because you want those people to be able to experience the world of fashion that you have. So you want to like give them the means, and that's what really like pushes me, because I wouldn't want to do this if I knew that I was just contributing to the waste in the world. Like the good that I'm doing, I want it to outweigh any production like waste that happens.
So I think the biggest challenge that I have gone through as being an artist is allowing other people to see my work and see me, and I feel like it's important to share your work and your process and not get afraid to share that. Ways that I have overcame that is by working collaboratively with other artists at KCAD, whether that be through design work or even just talking about art together and sharing opinions.
So I would say I'm curious about a ton of different things, and taking inspiration from like nature, architecture, really exploring those topics, whether it be, you know, one of those or something else, and really interpreting it into fashion design and, you know, what I'm doing. And so I have a ton of curiosities.
I'm thinking grad school possibly, but also just staying in Grand Rapids, especially having directed a fashion show. You know, there's some modeling agencies around here. I know that they're doing one this summer that they've already asked if I could direct, which is awesome. So yeah, just dipping my feet in here in Grand Rapids, seeing what I could do, and then maybe from there branching out.
Right now, my next step is going to New York, so I'm finishing up my degree at FIT. The 3-year program here at KCAD, you do your first 3 years, and then your 4th year, you're able to go to FIT in New York, and then the credits like combine so that from FIT you get an associate's degree, and then from Kendall you would get a bachelor's degree. After that, I'm not so sure. I'd really like to design. I'm very interested in textile design and like doing patterns and stuff. I see myself more as an illustrator than a sewer or pattern maker. I like to illustrate. I've always liked to draw. Another thing that I'm really interested in though is like the marketing side of it. I'd like to be a buyer. It has a lot of travel involved with it, and you get to like go and decide like what would be sold on the floor of different stores.
I haven't totally decided what I want to do, but my end-to-end goal is to work in the garment industry on the factory side, working to find sustainable change to fight against human trafficking that often happens in garment factories. There's not a lot of accountability for garment factories, and nobody really pays much attention to it, but often it's really easy for garment workers to be underpaid and mistreated, and honestly they work in really poor working conditions. That's something that I want to do more research and find out how some sustainable change can be created in that area so that they can be paid better and taken better care of with benefits without having to skyrocket the cost of the product.
Well, I just finished working with the Grand Rapids Ballet, and that was a lot of fun. Me and 4 other classmates, we did 4 costumes based around the 4 elements. A lot of people came and supported us, and then they actually participated in our KCAD fashion show, Flourish, which I directed, and that was a great experience as well. I learned a lot about how to communicate with everyone in the building at KCAD and everyone really in Grand Rapids, like with the venue, and I was in touch with people at Aveda. Yeah, just a lot of involvement with the arts here in this community. It's great.
Being in one of the classes, we do have the opportunity to work with other companies where they can assist us with our collection and help us to grow with a business mindset and also understand what garments people are looking for or what actually make the mark for a fashion line.
Fashion is just, it's great, but it's one of the biggest factors to pollution right now. And the main thing really is to just wear whatever you want, not really what's in style and what's trendy. I would suggest really going out and buying secondhand and using secondhand products to create new things as well. Nature is really what inspires me as a fashion designer. There's just so much natural texture that we can use to just make our designs more interesting. If we could just be more eco-friendly and thinking more about what we're wearing, that would be great for the environment as well as the designs.
For me, nature is my source of inspiration for everything I do. I literally have a Pinterest board that's like my inspiration board that is all nature inspired. And that's the first place I go when I'm looking to design. And I think that everything that we create ultimately ends up back somewhere else on this planet. When you're incorporating this sustainable mindset into your fashion and into your product, then it's a lot better for the planet.